when everything outside the garden was avast. That's where he found me. Beautiful man. Angelic, really, with 2 wounds on his back. He lifted me up. I healed him. I wasn't just the first woman, you see. I was the first witch, too. And he was Lucifer, the morning star, soon to be our dark lord. I was his handmaiden, and he was my master.
Opening the gates to the pit for the aristocracy of hell who will attend your coronation. You will wear the crown. You will sit in the throne. The world will be remade in hell's image. All the demon hordes will be freed. And you and I will rule over hell on earth. Together for all eternity.
And in his, and gave me his unholy blessing upon the church of Judas, the one true church. Hail, Judas.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. I've covered Sabrina, the Teenage Witch, or the Chilling Adventures, whatever this stupid show is called, multiple times, showing you the stuff from the Baphomet being used to all the satanic sigils being used. There's so much stuff in this, and I can't sit through and watch it, but I watched this episode because people told me to look at it, and I pretty much skimmed through it, I'll be perfectly honest, and read articles instead, because it's just getting nauseating to me at this point. But you see in the clip that I showed you, right, how they're saying in the beginning, well, Lucifer fell and found Eve, and Eve was the world's first witch. I mean, this stuff is just everywhere. Everything that they talk about is biblical, right? There's only reason that I cover this stuff, and I'm showing you like every day if you come to my channel and you're just like, okay, and then there's another show about the devil or about witches, and another and another and another. It isn't because it gets me views. It isn't because, I can't even tag these shows for the most part in the title of these because they try to strike me for using even pictures now of their stuff. So it's not, there's nothing behind it. And it doesn't give me any joy to talk about. But if you don't see the repetition, and that's what drives me, is showing you the repetition. Because if you're somebody who's an atheist and finds this channel and you keep seeing this stuff, you're bound to have a light go off in your head and say, wow, you know what? This is pretty unbelievable that a bunch of people who are atheists and the creators of the show are they're constantly referring and mocking Christianity, right? They mock Jesus in the episode. Of course they mock him, right? And then they promote Lucifer. But the plot apparently is around Lucifer's daughter is Sabrina, right? And then Sabrina has to bind him back to hell because he's going to bring upon the end of days. So technically, this is just another one of how many of these shows have I covered showing you how they're trying to make witches, glorify witches, and make witches the protagonists, right? Which in film terms or book terms means the good guy, right? They're making them the heroes. They're the ones saving the world. Now they bind all the evil souls or whatever, they're talking about in hell, the demons that were coming out of hell, they bind them down with these satanic sigils. You can see them using the same type of symbolism that I show you, whether it's the satanic sigils that they use, these Wiccan sigils, if you want to call them the Wiccan symbols, or, even just making the pyramid, right? Walking in a ritual circle, holding the pyramid up, right? The reason I show you this is so that you can see that it's constantly done in front of your face, and they're showing it to you constantly in front of your face. Okay? This is to glorify the occult. Now, the plot of the movie might have Lucifer getting bound to hell, and he might not be the protagonist in this specific episode, but he will come back, of course, and somehow save the day, because the show's going to continue on, right? And now that, the witches are the heroes, I'm sure Satan's going to have to team with the witches and probably fight against the apocalypse and the 4 horsemen. That's what's coming. They sure love to talk about the apocalypse. They sure love to talk about the end days. They can't seem to get enough of it. For people who don't believe it's real or it's occurring, or for people who believe that they're going to be able to fight against it with their transhumanism bullcrap that they're constantly pushing on us. This is the same thing. Didn't we just see this 3 months ago with American Horror Story? The arrival of the Antichrist, the end of the world, the witches save the world. It's the same plot. It's the same thing. But this is how the mind control works and the repetition works, right? Not only is it enhancing their spell casting on society, because this is what they do. They show you what they're going to do before they do it. It enhances the power of their spell. But they know that nobody believes in witchcraft. They just go, "Oh, it's fiction. It's a fictional show." Meanwhile, the news is way more fiction than this stuff. And then when they talk about it in, like, you know, articles like Entertainment Tonight, they're like, "Who knew Satan was such a hottie?" I mean, can you believe you're living in a world like this? You know, maybe I am just, you know, an old soul, as people say. You know, because, like, I just think back 100 years, like, if somebody came into town and was a witch or worshiping Satan, what would happen to them? And now they're just like, "Look at Satan hot," and because I know what they're doing, right? And again, they're calling him Lucifer Morningstar, just like they did in the other television show that Netflix picked up, the show Lucifer, glorifying Lucifer. We just had The Omen glorifying the Antichrist, right? And people don't see that they're just show after show after show. Whether it fails or not ratings-wise, they're going to keep producing them. And they're going to keep making these people the heroes because they're inverting everything. They're flipping everything upside down. And what's the one constant that we see with the feminist agenda being pushed, shoved down our throats? What's the constant that we see? The glorifying of witches. Let's not forget what we've seen with Donald Trump, right? And of course, this is, you know, the stuff with Trump and, you know, the Hollywood against Trump and all that stuff. Take that aside. But how about all of these witches who have come forward and done spell binding, all this kind of casting of spells on Donald Trump, casting of spells on other people, you know, in politics who were Republican. And then what else do we see? We see the stuff with, you know, we see Marina Abramovich becoming normalized, you know, witch who's being honored by Hollywood. Then what else do we see in addition to all these shows and all this other crap? We see, you know, all these women who were involved in feminism, like Rose McGowan, what's her name? Argento, the one who was involved with Anthony Bourdain. What do we see? All of these people coming out, talking about using their spells, all coming out, admitting to being witches, right? And people don't see this stuff. They're like, "Oh, you know, it's just like saying that you're, you know," I mean, I don't even know what to compare it to because I don't understand how nobody sees it anymore. It's frustrating because it's just like they're telling you to your face. They want everyone to know. Now, what can we do to stop it? We can wake people up to it. You know, if one of these videos helps wake up one person to see the repetition that's being used and how they are told, these aren't movies or shows that are saying, "Let's go, you know, burn the witches at the stake" or anything like that. These are shows showing you that the witches are the ones who are saving the world from Armageddon. Right? Witches are like superheroes. They're stopping the world from ending. It's unbelievable. And this isn't the only stuff, right? I mean, they have the movie Hellboy coming out. He's stopping it. He's stopping, you know, Armageddon from happening. That other show on Amazon I just covered with the two angels working together to stop the end of the world with the Antichrist. I mean, hello? If you can't see what's going on in front of your eyes, then, you know, you're walking around with blindfolds on and that's what you want to do, then go ahead. But I'm going to continue to try to show everybody this. This is just more crap, more of the same, and there's more shows coming out on Netflix that are going to be pushing the same agenda with the same plot. That's how ridiculous this is. The repetition, the predictive programming is real. This is what they've learned through the advent of television, okay? Through the propaganda of newspapers, all of this stuff. They knew if they can get control of the mind, that they enhance their craft and enhance their spells on society and then dumb them down into thinking all this is fake while programming them into seeing that it's going to be happening. Pretty sick stuff, but it's real. I thank you for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.